I don't know how many noticed this or not, but it took me until my second read until I actually noticed it, because I woke up early this morning, I read the chapter real quick before, I got food and stuff, and I didn't really notice that there was something very important going on with Bobbins that needs to be addressed, and many could overlook that scene and think it has something to do with what happened in the last chapter, with, Sanji kicking Bobbins, and then, Bobbin may be angry because of that, but if you look at that panel once again with Bobbins popping up, you'll notice that there was a gunshot. You have, this person, a civilian, saying, oh, what, was that a gunshot I heard? Oh, I don't really know. There's a lot of heavy rain going on right now, so I can't really tell if it was a gunshot or not. But they say, like, I do hear a dog barking. And then you see Bobbin hit the ground and all that, and he looks up, and if you look very closely in a tiny little panel, you'll see three people. You'll see three people, they're kind of shaded out, so you can't really see who they are, but overall, though, it's easy to assume that it's most likely Capone and his gang, because right before that scene happened, Jinbei was talking about Peckham's and Capone. So, the way that's going right there, I'm going to assume that Capone is finally making his move, and I wonder how many noticed that, because honestly, like I said, I didn't notice it the first read around, because I woke up early this morning, read the chapter, I was like, holy shit, read it a second time, and I'm like, damn, okay, so that's what's going on in that scene. So, anyways, Capone is making his move, obviously. I highly doubt that's Pudding. I do not think that's Pudding, unless Pudding is working with Capone. But overall, though, that is definitely Capone making his move and attacking Bobbin like that. And we do know, since Jinbei was mentioning that, the way the wedding is going, it's not as it appears, and since he seems to be aware of what was going on with Peckham's and Capone, there's more that's going to happen on the day of the wedding than what we already know so far. I mean, we already knew that Capone is a wild card in this arc, because he can do anything. He's someone that's going to be going after Big Mom. He's trying to, overthrow her in some way, and we know he has some big plan going on. We don't know exactly how he's going to do this, but we know it's going to happen, and it seems like Jinbei kind of knows or is aware of what might happen overall, and so we gotta remember this. It's going to be Big Mom, his entire crew, and Big Mom, and then you're going to have, the Straw Hat crew, and then you're going to have Capone in the middle of this, alongside of the Vinsmokes. It's going to be absolutely insane on the wedding day, and judging by what Luffy said at the end of the chapter, he's like, let's go crash that wedding. I'm like, holy shit, it's about to go down. Alright, this wedding is about to turn into a complete bloodbath, because all sides are probably going to be going after each other, and it's probably going to be fucking ridiculous. Now, here's the big thing we need to pull out of this section, okay? So, since Capone is making his move now, what is he trying to accomplish? I mean, we know he's trying to take down Big Mom, but in what way? Like, what is he trying to do? Who is he working with? And many have been assuming, and myself included, that it might be Pudding that is most likely helping him out. I've already discussed this in the past, that Pudding clearly doesn't have the same motive as probably Big Mom. Yes, she's evil, yes, she has a different side to her, and yes, we do know she's being, having a political marriage. She's not really going to marry Sanji, it's just more of a cover-up, but I still think Pudding has an overall bigger motive than what Big Mom wants, because Big Mom has her own thing she wants, Pudding definitely has to have something she wants, and most likely she might be siding with Capone, helping him out in some way, and it might cause whatever's going to happen on the wedding day. So it's going to be absolutely insane. I just can't wait to see what will happen in this event, because it's already crazy enough with the Straw Hats going up against Big Mom's crew, but then you throw in the Vinsmokes, and then you throw in Capone and all this, and all these other wild cards here and there throughout the arc, you don't know what will happen next. So I mean, all in all, I'm super fucking excited for the wedding day. Like, it's probably going to be a really good moment. One of my favorite moments of One Piece, depending on how it goes. So, enough of that. Let's talk about the Sanji and Luffy scene of this chapter. So, that scene, very, very sweet. Hit me right in the feels and the heart, and I like the actual comparison with Sanji's mother with this entire Luffy scene and Sanji. I don't know how many remember that, but I want to mention it. As we know, Sanji's mother, she was in the bed, she was sickly and all that, and we know how Sanji found out about the truth about his mother very recently. Well, kind of, excluding some of the details, we do know that Sanji tried really hard to make his mother some food, and it was raining one day, he dropped the food, he messed it up, and he still got it to his mother, and his mother, even though it looked like disgusting, like the food was all messed up and ruined, she still ate it, even though she was sick and all that, and it probably made her even sicker than when she already was, she still ate it and said it was completely delicious. Like, this is absolutely amazing, it's like everything I like. She enjoyed the food, and she ate everything from what Sanji made for her, and she was truly happy. Deep down, she was really really, really happy for what it was. And when you see this scene, it actually goes along with Sanji's mother. Luffy, he's in a similar situation. He's sickly right now, he can't really move, and he's already told Sanji, I will not move from the spot until I have some of your food. Sanji brings it, and obviously we see that there's something going on here. The food's all messed up. He said he dropped it, the rain's ruined it, all sorts of stuff has happened, and he's like, I don't know if you want to eat it. Regardless, Luffy eats it, and he says he truly enjoys it, he loves it, and it's everything he likes, everything that he wants from food that Sanji makes. And when he finishes eating it, he seems to have recovered, and he's like, I really enjoyed it, that's completely delicious. Sanji covers his face all that, he's like, you liar. And the reason why he's saying this is because his mother did the exact same thing. And he knows that the food probably doesn't taste as good as it should, because obviously it hit the fucking ground. It has dirt and shit all over it, and it's probably not as healthy as what other food can be, since it already has kind of been ruined, since it hit the ground, rain, and all that. But Luffy still ate it regardless, and it just shows you the message of this scene. It's kind of like Luffy's crew is Sanji's home. When he says, I want to go back to the Sunny, it's kind of like he's saying, I want to go back home. And it's a really good scene to emphasize how much the Straw Hat crew means to Sanji. I mean, he's like, I want to go home and all that to Sunny. He cries and all this, and many might say that's a lot like, you know, how Robin was. Like, he's like, I want to live. But in this, though, it's a little bit different, because Sanji, he's been, you know, having a horrible life. His entire childhood was pretty fucked up. His family didn't really care about him. The only person that really cared about him was his mother. And eventually, the only person he felt that was kind of like a father figure to him was his foster father at a restaurant. And eventually, he grew to care for this man. And then eventually, he found the Straw Hat crew. And then he traveled with them, which the Straw Hat crew became his, you know, home, his family. And when you see this scene with Luffy accepting this food, it's kind of like symbolizing his family now. Someone that accepts him for who he is, regardless of how maybe shit your food may be, or whatever problems you may go through, they'll accept you for who you are. And that's kind of what the message of that thing, that Oda was trying to, you know, convey to us as the reader of the chapter, because it's like, that's what it means. The contrast between, you know, Sanji's mother and now Luffy. So with that being said, though, I'm glad to see, you know, Sanji actually saying he wants to be with the Straw Hat crew, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still in a bind. I mean, he even makes it very obvious in this chapter. He's like, there's 3 reasons why I can't go with you. Number 1, I disrespected my captain. I hit my captain. I just put you down. I just was completely awful to you. There's no way I could be a part of your crew or be on your ship now because of what I've done. Now, we know how Luffy is. Luffy's like, fuck that shit, you get on board. We don't care about that. You know, there's going to be disputes. There's going to be arguments amongst friends and family. Do not worry about that. We know Luffy wouldn't really give, you know, a rat's ass about that. However, number 2 is a big problem. He's like, number 2, my foster father, or my real father now, his life is in jeopardy. If something happens to him, I don't know what to do. His life is on the line right now, and it's not like we can just go out of our way to go save him right now, because anything can happen. And so that's weighing on Sanji's soul right now. And he's like, number 3, the Vinsmokes. Yes, they're my blood family, and yes, they're pieces of shit. Yes, they've treated me like complete dog shit, but I still cannot let them die, regardless. And that is who Sanji is. That's the type of character he is. Regardless of how shitty of a person you are, he'll still help you. And that's kind of what he was trying to say. He's like, I just cannot let them die. Even though it would probably be smart to just let them get their just desserts because of what they've done to me, I still cannot let them die. And I really respect Sanji for that decision. He cannot leave behind his family, even though how awful they were, how bad they've treated him. It's just been completely awful his entire childhood. He cannot give up on them, and he still wants to save them. He cannot let them just, you know, succumb to Big Mom and completely kill all of them off. He does care, and he wants to stop that. And so, the mission for crashing the wedding is not just to save Zeph, but it's also to save the Vinsmokes. And I wonder throughout the course of this arc if the Vinsmokes might open up to Sanji, might, you know, realize that he isn't as useless as they think he is, or a dud, or just completely pointless. Hopefully they'll realize that he truly is someone that cares. He is a strong individual. He may not be what, you know, the actual Vinsmoke head, you know, Sanji's father wanted him to be, but overall, though, I feel like, you know, Sanji will prove himself that he is a good son, and he is someone that shows that he is powerful, not a dud. I hope they come to realization of that, even though they're kind of irredeemable. I mean, they're kind of assholes, what they've done, how they've killed people and all this. I still think it would be nice to see them accept Sanji once this arc is said and done, if they don't die to Big Mom or anything else that, you know, Capone probably has planned. So yeah, it was a good chapter. It was a really good chapter, kind of giving these little details here and there between Sanji and Luffy and Sanji's past, and I love the little setup we got for the next chapter when it is released. And FYI, if you're unaware, next chapter, like next week, One Piece is on break. It said it at the end of this chapter, but just in case you didn't see it or you're unaware of it, no chapter One Piece next week. We all know how Oda is. He works maybe 4 or 5 weeks, and then he takes a break, which is understandable. I've talked about this many times. Oda needs his breaks. This man works his ass off constantly, and a man needs a break. A man needs a break. That's just how it is. So, if Oda needs a break, let him take a break. I mean, he gives us quality chapters each week. This has been a very fucking good arc of One Piece, and so I think we can all understand if Oda needs a break, he needs a break. But if you're all wondering why no chapter next week, that is because Oda is just taking a break. He needs one. So, overall, chapter, enjoyed it. Cannot wait to see what Capone has planned. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen next with, Sanji and Luffy. What's going to go down with the Vin smokes and all that. Are they going to realize how Sanji is actually very important? We'll see where it goes. Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. And I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.